So our webinar title, Study Geoinformatics, Geoscience in Germany. Is my understanding that actually the geoinformatics part might be a little bit cut short today. Two of the webinar panelists will not be able to join us. However, we do have Dr. Nina Kehl, professor for marine geosciences, and Dr. Peter Merkel, applied environmental geoscience. I'll let them introduce themselves later. I just want to talk very briefly about my German university, which, again, if you're here, you already know a little bit about us. We are the largest English taught study finder in Germany, which means that if you want to come to Germany and you want to study in English, we got you covered. You can just go there and explore a little bit of our study finder, go to the drop-down menus, and you can filter by, oh, maybe you want to study marine geosciences. And then you want to check, oh, how are the programs in some cities? Or let me check rankings. So just explore there, play around with that, and you can find a lot of different things. Another way that we try to help you is through our very comprehensive articles database. We have articles about all the important subjects that you'd have to know in order to come to Germany. For example, scholarships, or maybe how to write a letter of motivation, or maybe how to apply via Unisys, which I know that is something that a lot of you are very, very afraid of. But it's fine. We can explain very clearly how to do it. And even better, we have these articles in many different languages. So if you are, for example, from Brazil, don't worry, I translated this to Portuguese, so we got you covered. We also do webinars, which obviously you are attending one right now. We have these very specific webinars that we talk about specific subjects. However, we also have webinars on scholarships or Unisys or visa applications. So just always take a look in our website and just to keep updated on what's happening and what we're offering. And this is us, very international crew. We have people from, well, actually increasingly less international. We have a lot of Germans right now, but we still have Brazilians, Georgians, Ukrainians, so people from all around. And we speak many, many different languages. I'm gonna let Dr. Nina to introduce herself and Dr. Peter introduce himself. Regarding questions, one last thing. You probably noticed already that you cannot use the chat function. However, there is a Q&A function. I see someone is already asking something. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A function. Any general question, I'll be answering, so no problem. If you have a specific question, don't worry. One of the professors will either answer you in writing, or by the end of this webinar, we have a dedicated time just to do a brief Q&A, see any questions that are not answered, or maybe if there are new questions that arose. So don't worry, don't be stressed if you're not having your answer as soon as you want, because we are checking that. Okay, I talked already way too much. Dr. Nina, please, the floor is all yours.
Yes, hello. Good morning, and maybe also good evening or maybe good afternoon to you. I know it's an international webinar today, so I'm happy to be here. I'm Nina Kehl. I'm from Kiel University, and I'm going to introduce the study program Marine Geosciences to you today. We are located in Kiel, so there is going to be lots of information about what you can study if you were to choose us. It's a normal master's program, so this means in Germany it has 120 ECTS points, so it's a full-time program. However, many of our students actually work next to those hours, so you can also accompany this while working half-time or part-time in a job. I know many of you need to earn some extra money to be able to study. It's all in English. It is based on a 180 ECTS bachelor, so that's the prerequisite for joining us. You need to have more or less 50 ECTS from geoscience related subjects. However, we get more and more heterogeneous over the years, so this means we also have possibilities for instance, geographers and biologists to join us. It's usually studied in 4 semesters. We always start at the winter semester. So this is very important because the winter semester is kind of our foundation. This is where we give you all the background you need. And then in the summer semester, we're going to take you into the field. The application is handled via UniAssist, so I've put the link down here. And this year's application deadline is on April 15. It's opening, or actually now it's already open, so you're welcome to apply. We look at the applications on a more or less daily basis. So this means the earlier you apply, the earlier we can actually check your application. And just a general remark that I just learned recently to actually really stress, I know it has gotten extremely hard to obtain a visa. And actually, you can already ask for your visa appointment. You need to have an interview in most cases. You can ask for this interview before we actually send you the invitation letter, because they just need a few information for you. And usually you wait months, unfortunately, for this visa appointment to happen. So I would say if you consider studying in Germany, at Kiel University, hopefully, get your hands on that very soon. Okay, so a bit about our study content. Why would you want to study marine geosciences? Well, if you're interested in marine topics, for instance, marine geology and scientific work, we are very focused on real scientific work. So we take you on many field-based and land-based excursions. So for instance, I'm taking you out on the sea with one of our research vessels. And we have a strong focus on interdisciplinary work. So this means obviously we're going to teach you in geology, geophysics, and so on, but there's also biology, sustainability, and other aspects covered. I'm just very quickly glancing over the participating working groups because all our students are in very close contact with our working groups at the Institute. And feel free to check these out at your own time. So we have a associated working group from paleontology, coastal geology, paleoceanography, marine micropaleontology, and what makes us very special is that we are very close working together with the GeoMar. This is a big research institute in Kiel, and they are involved in teaching, but there is also the possibility to join cruises, work in their labs, carry out your project and or masterwork over there, and this is actually chosen by many of our students. We have also working groups from organic geochemistry, ocean circulation and climate dynamics, paleoclimate modeling, marine biogeochemistry, marine geophysics, and petrology and geodynamics, as well as magmatic and hydrothermal systems. So you see it's a full range of subjects that we actually put into this master's. We're not going to dwell too much on the actual study content and the study plan. However, I wanted to highlight to you that the winter semester, like I said, we are laying the foundation. So those are our core courses. And the summer semester, there's many excursions and field trips. The third semester is kind of our mobility window. So many of our students, they choose to go abroad. And if you choose to stay with us, there's a huge plethora of compulsory elective modules you can choose from. And then in the fourth semester, you would do your master thesis. We have a few things that makes Kiel University very special. One of them is CEU. So this is a European university. It, at the moment, has 9 members, and it's all over Europe. So for instance, we have a university in Norway, in Bergen, but we also have a university in Malta. In the east, our most eastern partner is Gdansk in Poland, and our most western partner is in Portugal, and obviously everywhere in between. What we are actually aiming for is to really closely interlink our efforts, both on a lecture basis, but also on a research basis. So if you were to come study with us, you could actually participate in this by either, obviously you can always go there for a full semester, but this makes it really special. You can also just take one module at another university. Usually those modules, they have roughly 5 ECTS and are fully accredited towards your studies with us. Usually they have a hybrid component. So this means parts are taught in Kiel. You will be in Kiel, you're going to take the classes online. And then usually the students, they meet for a field work component or a physical attendance component throughout the semester block. They're called blended intensive programs. They're fully funded by Erasmus, so it comes at no cost for you to go to other universities. And we're also looking at opening other electives, other virtual courses. We have a micro-credential awarding in place at the moment, where we actually really try to, on a very deep basis, to interlink our study programs. And we are at the progress of looking at joint degree programs. For instance, one would be our Bachelor in Sustainable Blue Economy. Okay, another thing that makes Kiel very special is FJORD. It's an acronym that stands for Foster Young Ocean Researcher Development. It's an initiative at Kiel. It's a combination between Kiel University and a GeoMar, and everybody who actually works on ocean topics can join this, and it's especially targeted at young researchers, so meaning you. It includes everyone from a master's level over a PhD level up until to a postdoc level. And you all work together on different aspects of your career. So usually we do not have too many topical classes, but we have many classes that help you to take the next steps in getting a successful career in marine topics. So for instance, there is scientific writing classes, there is classes on how to interact on social media, there's photography classes to get you like the best pictures from your field work, and so on and so forth. It has a huge variety. There's also some funding for research, for conferences. So it's very, very it's a very good support, I would want to phrase it today for our students. And actually many of our students choose to join FJORD. It's not mandatory, it's something you can do out of your own will. We also have an interdisciplinary master school established at Kiel University that focuses on marine sciences. So this means all students from all faculties at Kiel University, when they join this master school, they can take marine classes. So all the classes that have a marine focus are bundled in the school. Of course, many of our classes from marine geosciences are pooled in there, but also from other fields, for instance, from law of the sea, from resource economics, from sustainability, and so forth. So everybody gives classes into this pool, and the students can then pick freely which classes they think fits best their needs. And obviously you're going to have your future career also in mind. For instance, many of our students, they choose to take a module about law of the seas. There's also a module about communication, and so on and so forth. So many additional opportunities that arise. And the good thing is our Master of Marine Geosciences actually has the opportunity. So we have modules, which we call free choice modules. So you can book any class in there as long as it has a relevant focus. So all the classes, for instance, that you take via CEU, all the classes you take via the Interdisciplinary Master School of Marine Sciences, they can all be accredited in your normal curriculum. Okay, one of the specialties is that we have a tailored online program. It's called DigiCruise. And when you go on this webpage, you can actually, not today, it's under maintenance, sorry, bad timing. You can actually go on a real live research cruise with us. You start in the Kiel Fjord, and then you're going to go on sampling stations, just like we do in the field. So you can look at the sediments, you look at the water column, and you can do real lab experiments online. So go check it out. Not today, please. Okay, I have spoken a lot about all the opportunities. So how would that look? What does a student in Master Marine Geosciences actually do? And I have taken an example here from Janne. Janne, she actually went on 4 cruises during her master's. So she was actually away relatively a lot, but we have small classes. We usually have somewhere between 15 and 20 students. So we usually really make it work. If special opportunities arise, we usually really try our best to accommodate that. So next to those cruises, she was a Hiwi at the GeoMar. I already mentioned many of our students choose that opportunity, and she decided to apply for another scholarship from the DIAD to actually do her master thesis at Hobart. She has done an Erasmus in Gothenburg, where she actually took many courses, And for instance, about marine biology, about sea and society. So many interesting courses she was able to participate in. Of course, not everybody of our students goes on 4 cruises. However, most of our students actually managed to go on a cruise throughout their studies that is not in the curriculum. Obviously, in the curriculum, there's also cruises included. What are our other students doing? So I just talked about Janne, to give you a better experience about how studying at Kiel University could look like. Like I said, we have the access to the German research vessel fleet. And in 2023, there was a cruise in the North Atlantic. In 2024, we sent our students to the Antarctic shelf. And they actually did all the sampling for their master thesis themselves, which I think is pretty cool and a very unique opportunity. What is happening next semester? So we have like I said, we have lots of field courses happening in the summer semester. So this semester, the students, they go to the island of Rügen, where they have a 4-day field trip, and they're looking at the marine paleo environment. So this means they learn about the ocean, continent, atmosphere interactions. So for instance, they're looking at the cliffs and the basement of the Isle of Rügen. We're talking about Holocene sea level rise. We're talking about the glaciological landscape. It's very interactive, and we actually really rely on the input from the students, so from you. What can you do if you would decide to study marine geosciences? It's a very big field, and actually our students, I'm always amazed where they end up in. So far, they all have found a job, so none of them are sitting somewhere unemployed. And it's very diverse. We have the focus on research opportunities. So many of our students, they go on into the marine geological field and do a PhD there. If they don't decide to do a PhD, many of them go into coastal management. So for instance, groundwater management, coastal protection, and so on. Actually, at the moment, many students go there because there is many open jobs that are created in this area. Some go into oil and gas exploration, however, not too many. Some join consultancies, either for coastal and marine engineering projects, or, and this is relatively new, they go into consultancies about climate change. Some decide to go into more a communication oriented career. They do public relations for companies or institutions. You can do always science communication. So this means you can work at a museum, institutes, and so on and so forth. Or you can do science management, either at the national or the international level. So plenty of opportunities. And obviously, if you decide to do a PhD, afterwards, all those other opportunities are also open to you. Okay, so why do you want to study with us in Kiel? It's an international recognized program. We have international scientists. We do have the partnership with the 𝘗𝘢𝘪, so it's very research intensive. Fjord is an interesting program, and what I would say from my side, what makes this really special is the flexible curriculum. So you can really tailor the program according to your needs. Plus, it's very easy to go abroad. But obviously, we're also happy to then have you back and stay with us and do your master thesis with us after the 3rd semester. It's a big institute, so this means we cover many topics. And obviously, why do you want to go to Kiel? Well, it's at the sea, so it's a very nice scenery. The landscape is nice. You have easy access to beaches, and it's a small town feeling, which means it's also not as expensive as other German universities, and everybody bikes everywhere. Okay, I'm just pulling up the last slide here. The deadline is on April 15, and the applications are handled via UniAssist. So you need to create a profile with UniAssist and then find us there and send us your application. If you have further questions, there is my email address, and you're welcome to reach me there. Thank you very much.
Perfect time, 15 minutes on the dot. Thank you so much, Dr. Nina.
Thanks for having us.
Dr. Peter, the floor is all yours. Take your time.
Okay. Okay. My name is Peter Merkel. I'm at the University of Tübingen. By profession, I'm a geologist. And what I'm trying to do is to introduce to you the Applied and Environmental Geoscience program at Tübingen. And what I'm trying to do now is give you a short overview. If you are interested in details, please check our website. If you go to my German university, you'll find all the links that you need to go there. And if you have any questions, we can talk about this at the end. So just to give you an idea, we are a group of maximum 40 students per batch. And so it's a small unit and it's quite familiar, and you will get to know the people from all over the place very good over the 2 years that you might spend here. We have a long history. So our program started in 1999. So we are already in our 25th year of teaching. And so what AEG actually stands for is a modern interdisciplinary curriculum that we have developed over, well, 25 years, and we have gone through a lot of changes. At the moment, we are one of the largest institutes in geosciences and environmental sciences in Germany. And we have highly motivated staff with 25 years of teaching. We have very young professors, and we have some with a lot of experience. So it's a nice mix. And research and studies are with a lot of working groups in Tübingen, but as well with different universities or different research organizations, such as the Environmental Research Center in Leipzig. Our study program basically has a general focus on evaluation and solutions of environmental problems in the subsurface. So hydrogeology is one strong focus of what we do. But the big thing about our program is that we try to aim for a comprehensive understanding of all the involved process mechanisms in the geosphere and the hydrosphere. So physical as well as chemical, as well as biological. So our special emphasis would go towards things such as pollution of drinking water supplies, non-sustainable use of natural resources, and also on the impact of climate and land use changes on soil and water quality. If you're interested in these areas, you can still develop an individual focus at Tübingen. And there are 3 areas of specializations that you can choose from when you come here. One is environmental chemistry and environmental microbiology. One is environmental physics, and one is hydrogeology. So just by looking at the 3 specializations, you will see that the people that come to study in Tübingen are not only geoscience people, but we have chemical engineers, and we have physicists, and we even had some mathematicians. The thing that we are really looking for is a solid background in natural sciences. And this is what our program characteristics are all about. So we are research oriented. We have 26 work groups that are involved in all different fields of environmental research and geoscience. And we are looking for an in-depth knowledge of classical and natural sciences. So we are looking, when you apply, we are looking at math, physics, and chemistry in your transcript in your bachelor. Geoscience is, of course, welcome, but if you are not a geoscientist, there is a module that we have designed especially for people that are not geologists by background, so you can get all you need in terms of basic geology in a module that you can count for in your elective program. We are a 2-year program that starts every winter. Again, we have 26 work groups in classical geoscience disciplines as well as environmental geoscience. We have a brand new, huge building, the Geo and Environmental Research Center, with extensive lab facilities and state-of-the-art and analytical equipment. For the hydrogeologists, we do have our own hydrogeological field site just outside Tübingen, where we do field courses and do everything that you can imagine in terms of pumping tests, slug tests, tracers, everything that is important in getting the data from the field for groundwater modeling or contaminant transport modeling, for example. To give you an idea what the program looks like is, you see here in this picture. It's a 4-semester, 120 credit master program. In the first semester, the whole batch that comes to Tübingen has to do groundwater modeling 1, environmental chemistry, and global change. These modules give you the basics that you all need, no matter what you do later, whether you go towards the more chemical side or biological side or more geoscience or hydrogeoscience. So these are modules that everybody has to go through. And then the green modules here are different elective modules. So you see that a large part of what you want to do is open to elective modules, and you can sort of custom tailor your studies more towards the chemical side or more towards the geological side when you look at all the electives. I will not show you all the modules that we have because you will forget this immediately, but what I would like to ask you then is to go on the website and check the module handbook. There you find all the modules that we have, and you can see in detail what they do and what you can choose. In order to give you a complete idea, so we do have the possibility to start the master thesis already in the 3rd semester. Scientific practice and scientific presentations are modules that are linked to the master thesis. So this basically is the planning of your master thesis, and scientific presentation is part of that will be, for example, a poster show where you present your results at the end. You will have to join a weekly seminar over the 2 years that you are around. So those blue ones are for everybody. And when you want to specify in either of the 3 specializations, you have to take 3 modules out of the vast variety of modules that we have. So if you are interested in getting a degree in the specialization of environmental chemistry and environmental microbiology, you have to take 3 modules. One of them is biotransformation of pollutants, environmental analytical chemistry, hydrogeochemical modeling. If you're going in the direction of environmental physics, you'd have to take atmospheric physics, climate dynamics, and physics of the Earth's surface. And if you are interested in hydrogeology, groundwater modeling 2, hydrogeological field investigation techniques, and remediation of contaminated sites would be modules that you need to take in order to have this on your transcript. However, if you choose to do hydrogeology as your specialization, you are still able to take the module biotransformation of pollutants. So basically, it's a system of different modules that you can stack according to your needs. And the only modules that you do have to take are the 3 in the beginning that everybody has to take. And then depending on the specialization that you take, these 3, and you're free to choose from the rest. So I don't show you the rest. Have a look at the module handbook, and then you can look at it in detail with more time. Okay, for the further information, I would tell you to go see our website. You'll find comments of current students. There is our little movie and some comments from students that were here and now are PhD students or might have already left. There is, of course, the most important thing. What do you do for a master thesis? There are recent topics from all the working groups, and there is a lot of working groups. So I cannot list them all and tell you what you could possibly do. What I did is I sort of put some together from different working groups. So the working group, for example, climatology and the biosphere, they do domain adaptation of deep learning forecasts. And if you go for environmental system analysis, the influence of hippuric sediments on the fate of fecal bacteria, there's always a mix between chemistry, modeling, biology, and depending on which group you are joining, the options that you have for different topics can be quite vast. So what I would like you to invite you to is check the website. If you have further questions, you can always address me. You'll find my email on the website too. So I'm looking forward to questions that you might have. And I hope that maybe Tübingen will be an interesting place for you. So check it out, and we would be very pleased if you send us an application. The deadline for the application is the 31st of March. And I think the online portal of the university opened just today. So you can already apply. And as the big problem for some of you will be the visa. I also tell you that apply for the visa as soon as you can, because depending on the country that you're from, it might take up to 6 months to get a visa, sometimes even more. So do this early enough, and that will be very helpful, because Tübingen is a place where a lot of people come to. And so if you try to apply early, and then you can also try to apply for housing, which is a difficult issue here. So if you try to choose Tübingen, try to apply as soon as possible, and then we can see and work on your application. Okay, this is
Perfect. Thank you, Professor. So first of all, Dr. Nina, thank you for answering some of the questions that are already directed to you. But we have a little bit of time. So if you are both up to it, maybe we can just... So because some of these questions, although were directed to one person, they are very important and kind of general. And I see a lot of people today asking about scholarships. So first of all, I would like to tell all of you here watching us right now, scholarships a lot of times in Germany are separate processes. You're not going to apply, if you apply for a program, you can also apply for a scholarship in a different, maybe in a foundation, maybe with the DAAD. Anyway, take a look at our website, and we have a lot of information about scholarships. However, just for the sake of mine, let's specifically, Dr. Pitte, how are scholarships for your program?
In Tübingen, the university doesn't have any scholarships. This is quite unusual. So most of the people that come here, they already have applied for scholarships. As far as I know, DAAD is always 1 year before you even start applying. You could also already apply for a DAAD scholarship. So my experiences with scholarships is that students apply and already have lined up something. And then they need from us, if they are chosen for the program, they need some letter of invitation, and then this works. But the university as such does not have a scholarship to offer. And it's, as far as I know, fairly uncommon. There are some universities, like the one that was supposed to show up in Darmstadt, they have a certain suite of DAAD scholarships for students, and they can apply via the university, but we don't have that.
Professor Newman?
The same for us. It's very uncommon in Germany to have a scholarship. I think it also has to do with the fact that for us, education is free, right? So we don't charge you. So basically, I always tell our students it's as if everybody were to get a scholarship, and you don't have to pay for the tuition fees. But there is no formal scholarships. It's the same for us. So you would need to go at the DAAD, get the scholarship, and then go and apply with us.
Perfect. And on that note, I see someone already is asking here about assistant positions, work attachment, research assistant. You both talked a little bit about it, but maybe could you elaborate a little bit more about one, what are possible working placements that you can do while you're doing your master's, and two, opportunities after you graduate. This is also something that a lot of people ask. Maybe talk a little maybe about former students too. Professor Peter?
Yeah. Okay. This is really depending on what your background is. So usually when you come here in the first semester, you get to know the professors, and there is, of course, always an opportunity to work for work groups. And this is always a question of being here at the right time, in the right place, with the right background. If somebody needs someone in a lab, then of course they want people that have lab experience or they have worked on something similar already. And they need, of course, some money. And the money usually is research money, where you hire people that help your work group. So yes, the possibility is there, but no, I can't really tell you for sure that this is something that you readily can have when you come to Tübingen. So I would think that in the first semester, rather no, because nobody knows you, and then you get to know the professors and you have to interact with them, and then it depends what happens. But yeah, every once in a while, students in the end work, of course, as a master student, and a lot of them usually get some sort of student aid job before they start their master thesis. But this is individually quite different. Some people don't even look for it, some look for it. So it's, yeah.
Absolutely. Dr. Nina?
For us, actually, almost all our students are working as a research assistant. However, it's similar to what Peter just said. Obviously, when you start, some students try to line this up beforehand, but people don't know you, so it's really hard. And actually, it's almost impossible to line that up beforehand. But then, as soon as classes start, you interact with the professors, and actually, by the end of the first semester, all those students that want to have a research assistantship, they also have one. But this also comes from the fact that we have the 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘥 like associated with us, and obviously there's lots of research going on there. So quite a lot of our students also go to the 𝘗𝘢𝘪𝘥. But actually, many of our students also are working in our working groups at the university. So I always tell the students that if you want to get a research assistantship, you will get a research assistantship.
Perfect. Someone also asked, actually, that's a pretty good question. Someone asked, please mention student academics ratio for all programs. So, for example, how many students per cohort, and maybe how many professors per students? Do you know this data?
Well, this depends. So we have a maximum intake of 40 students per batch. Usually, we end up with less than 40 students because some people decide very late that they come and some don't get the visa. So in the end, we have about 150 applicants on the average every year. And in the end, we end up with maybe 30 students that eventually come. But this is one of the problems that we have if we have a waiting list and people, well, students sometimes apply, well, most of the time apply to many universities, and they wait to the very last moment to decide what they want to do. And if they get something that they think is better, then they tell you that they won't come in June. And of course, for those that are on the waiting list, this is much too short a time to get a visa or anything else. So this is a problem that we have every once in a while. But generally, the cohorts are on the order of 25, 30, I would think. And we have 26 working groups, so we have at least 26 professors and a bunch of assistants. And depending on whether something is a mandatory course where everybody has to be in, then you end up with classes that have maybe 40 people, because different master courses also share courses with us. If it goes into the more specific things such as hydrogeochemical modeling or something, then groups can go down to 10, maybe 12, depending on which specialization. Because with so many professors, in the end, classes are quite small. And so this is actually, in my mind, this is a unique situation where you have a high ratio for professor-student behavior,
Yeah,
let's see. And yeah, so groups are small generally, considering, I don't know, economics, or where they have hundreds and hundreds of people and you don't know anybody. You will know everybody when you start here.
Yeah, especially for international student, that makes a good difference.
Yeah.
Dr. Nina?
Yeah, the same for us. So we also have small classes. We aim for roughly 15 students. That's due to the fact that we are very research intensive. We go into the field a lot. We use the research vessels. So we can't take very many students. And our classes are also very small. So in the first semester, everybody takes the same classes. So that's then roughly 15 students in a class. And then if you do your elective classes, sometimes there is only like 2 or 3 students in one class, which then is obviously, it's also very nice for us because we get to interact much more with the students and have really lively discussions, which we value a lot.
That's really cool. Yeah, these are the questions. Let's see, one last here. I have many relatives living in Kiel. Can they help me to get this opportunity?
I wish. So no, there are no Nepo babies at Kiel University. You have to go through the official channels to apply. However, obviously, it's nice to have somewhere to stay, because what Peter just mentioned earlier also applies to Kiel. So it is challenging and gets more and more challenging, unfortunately, to find accommodation. So it's good if you have somebody to, I don't know, couch surf for the first couple of months before you then find your own accommodation. All our students, they end up finding something, but however, some they don't find something directly in Kiel, so some need to commute for like half an hour every morning, and then usually by the second semester the situation is much more relaxed, and then students move to Kiel. But every year we have like 1 or 2 students that have to commute for like half an hour or something. So
Perfect. I see that. Let me just cancel this. The last question, because I think, just to be clear to everyone attending here, some more general questions you can research, you can find this information on the website. But Justin here asking about if the university helps with the processing of the papers, and how they should go about that. I would assume no, right? I think like this, just so everyone here listening to me right now, look, when you're applying for international university, it's on you to find out the documentation, to gather all that. Depending where you're from, there even might be service providers that can help you with that. I would even strongly recommend you to not use that and do it on your own, because this is your academic future. And the university has many services for sure, but the bureaucracies of Germany, I would even say it's part of living in Germany, is learning how to deal with these bureaucracies. And you can do it. You definitely can do it. And I'm sure there's always other students that went through the same thing that are eager to help you. Considering there are no other questions, would you have any last closing remarks?
Yes, actually, I always tell our students it's very worthwhile to go abroad and use the mobility opportunities there are. So since I assume many students that join us today are actually international, I also want to urge you to actually take the opportunities. And while it might be sounding very daunting at the beginning, all of our students actually at the end were very relieved that they did this, and like I said, all of them have found very interesting jobs afterwards. So I would say it's a useful invested time and effort on your part. And we're looking forward to seeing you in Kiel.
Yeah, same thing here. Over the last 25 years, we had I think, on the order of 400 and some odd students. And from most of the ones that I know, they all found jobs, they all liked it, and they used the international year sort of as a door opener to do other things. So a lot of our students ended up as professors now, I mean, 25 years back. So try to use an international year as a door opener for you. And we're looking forward to hear from you. And if you would like to come to Tübingen, apply. If you have more questions, you'll find my email, and then we can try to sort out things that you might like to know yet.